Next, we'll do hide choice by event. So this is kind of cool. I created this project, and if I look at my designer, I've got a screening form, again, very basic, and then I have a second form, and all this is a list of options. Okay, and the overall of this is sort of, I'm going to have different events, right? I designed this as a longitudinal study, got these different events. And for reasons that are important, I only want on certain visits to display certain options. So, for example, I might not want fluid administration on the first visit, or, maybe I want them all, but maybe on the fourth visit, I don't want, maybe I don't want the fluid administration on the last visit. I only want labs and EKG. So there's all kinds of ways you can configure this. The thing that's complex about this is once you set the hide choice by event, and there's no configuration here you can see. So if you need to configure, well, you do need to configure this, but you do it on a field level basis, and you have to do it using JavaScript. And now, it's not rocket science, or I wouldn't be demonstrating it. Well, yeah, I still might, but I want you to understand that this isn't too hard, because there's a nice document that comes along with this, and it gives you a perfect example of how to do this. And yes, this is coding, but if you just follow what it says here and then, modify it for your project, then it will work just fine. So I'm going to go back to my designer, open up my options. And so in advance, here's how I did it. And I don't know if this helps you or not. I usually do things in some kind of a text editor or whatever. So I took his script. This isn't his, but I took his original, and then I just went through and sort of made some modifications and plugged in what I want. And basically this says, I want to hide code 4, which is MRI, on visit 1 and visit 2. And I'm using here, slide this over a minute, look at my project setup and go to find my events, make sure that you see where you get those names. They're right here. So visit 2, arm 1, visit 1, arm 1 is what I put in here. And so code 3, and this is where you're going to hide them. So if I come back to my designer, look at my options, then I want, and I copied my events down here so I could use them ultimately up here and just plug them in where I wanted to, and made sure I followed the format. One mistake I made, the example just has 2 of these things. When I added a third, I forgot to put in a comma. Like any code, if you don't have it just right, it won't run. So when you test it, you will know that you don't have it just right if it doesn't work. If it does work, then you know you got it fine. If it doesn't work, come back here, I still recommend playing with this in an editor of some kind so you can see it all at once. But when you do it, notice, hang on here, notice that this is just an action tag. So once I create the field, then I need to create an action tag. And if I look at my action tags, I'm going to find that once I add the module, now there is a hide choice by event. And I could add it, and you can see that it's there. But this is one of those things that I think that is best done, as I said, in the text editor, because you can see it all at once. Notice how if I were to start typing in here all of this and scroll down, I still only get this little window. I don't have an expand option, so I can see it all. So that's why I recommend building it where you can see it all in like a text editor. I'm going to copy it, what I showed you, and paste it. See, now this is what it looks like. And you don't need all of these different rows and spaces and all that. I mean, you could make this all run together into one, something like this. But in coding, it's so much easier when you have it like this. You can see everything very easily and clearly and understand where you're missing something. So again, you don't have to know JavaScript to be able to do this. You just need to use his example and then make the changes off of it. So I'll save it and let's see how it looks. I don't think I have anybody in here, so I'll just add a new record and I'll do my screening form. All right, so I'm going to come to my options in my screening event. I've got them all available. I just need labs done for this event. So this is done, save and exit. Now I come to visit 1. Notice that I only have 3 available. I can do one of these 3 things in this particular visit. So I'll give some fluids. Come to my second visit, and I have these options again. And come to my third visit, and now I have 4 different options. I no longer have the fluids to give, but I can do labs. So normally you could use branching logic to show or hide things. But there's no way to drive what you see in option buttons unless you use this module. And it only works on radio buttons. It does not work on checkboxes. So you'd have to stick and drop downs. It works with radio buttons. So it's a way for you to show and hide options based on the event. And if that applies to your study, then great, something new, very different, not a piece of functionality that you would be able to do before the module came out. So, any questions on that one? No questions? All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.